Good day, everyone. So, today in my presentation, I will be talking about a certain law related to gender, which is the Magna Carta of Women or the Republic Act number 9710. So, I will be presenting only its general provisions regarding its declaration of policy and its principles, rights, and empowerment of marginalized sectors, institutional mechanism, penalties, and implementing its rules and regulations. First is the general provision regarding its declaration of policy and its principles. The declaration of policy. The state affirms the role of women in nation building and upholds the substantive equality of women and men. Also, it understands the elimination of discriminatory institutions and practices is necessary in order to achieve gender equality. And CEDAW, or the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, and other international instruments that are compliant with Philippine law are upheld by the state. And its principles of human rights of women. All people are free and equal in their dignity and rights according to Article 1 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. According to human rights norms, no one should be subjected to discrimination on the basis of race, gender, age, language, sexual orientation, nationality, social background, origin, disability, property, or birth. Next is the rights and empowerment of marginalized sectors. The following laws, among others, the Indigenous Peoples' Rights Act, the Urban Development and Housing Act, the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Law, the Fisheries Code, the Labor Code, the Migrant Workers Act, the Solo Parents Welfare Act, and the Social Reform and Poverty Alleviation Act guarantee all civil, political, social, and economic rights to women in marginalized sectors. And for the discrimination against women is prohibited. Women have a right to have their rights recognized and protected, including their right to be free from discrimination as defined by this act. If found guilty of discriminating against women, public or private organizations as well as individuals will be liable to the penalties outlined in Section 41 of this document. Next is the institutional mechanism. The institutional mechanism regarding its gender mainstreaming as a strategy for implementing the Magna Carta of Women. So the National Commission on the Role of Filipino Women, or the NCRFW, shall assess its gender mainstreaming program for consistency with the standards under this act. It shall modify the program accordingly to ensure that it will be an effective strategy for implementing this act and attaining its objective. Next is the National Commission on the Role of Filipino Women, or the NCRFW. So the National Commission on the Role of Filipino Women, or the NCRFW, shall be renamed as the Philippine Commission of Women on Women, or the PCW. The PCW shall be the primary policy-making and coordinating body of the women and gender equality concerns under the office of the President. And for the monitoring progress and implementation and impact of this act. The PCW shall, in cooperation with other state agencies and the CHR, submit to Congress on a regular basis reports on the progress made by the Philippines on human rights issues. Next is the penalties. The penalties, the person directly responsible for that violation as well as the head of the agency or the local chief executive shall be held liable. And filing a complaint under this act does not preclude offended party from pursuing other remedies available under the law. And for the implementing rules and regulations, a law was passed by the Philippine Commission on Women, or the PCW, to advance the rights and welfare of women and girls in the country, in collaboration with the Commission on Human Rights, or the CHR, and all relevant government ministries and agencies. The PCW will serve as the leading organization. And regarding to its separability, repealing, and effectivity clause, the remainder of the legislation or the provisions not otherwise affected shall continue valid, and in fact, if any section or portion of this provision is found to be unlawful or unconstitutional, any law, presidential decree, or issue executive order, letter of instruction, administrative order, rule, or regulation that is at odds with or incompatible with the terms of this act is hereby repealed, modified, or amended in accordance with the foregoing, after being published in at least two newspapers of broad circulation. This act will go into 15 days later. So in this illustration, we can see a figure of a woman saying empower women, which means promoting women's sense of self-worth, their ability to determine their own choices, and their right to influence social change for themselves and others. So before I will end this video presentation, I will be saying I will say its famous quote regarding a women empowerment, saying feminism isn't about making women stronger. Women are already strong. It's about changing the way the world perceives that strength, by J.D. Anderson. And this is the reference that I used in making this presentation. And that is it for my video presentation. I hope you may learn something. Thank you, and once again, a good day to each everyone.